guys, something is happening in the world right now, and it goes far beyond whether or not J.B. Pritzker and Gavin Newsom are offended by the president wanting to help citizens of their respective states, Illinois and California, help them feel safe. 4 years of Joe Biden, 8 years of Barack Obama, those 12 years did more damage, not just to America, but to the entire world, bending the knee to Iran, sending them hundreds of billions of dollars to use against us and Israel, by the way, pushing Putin to invade not once, but twice now, letting China spy on us, letting China buy our farmland. It goes well beyond tariffs. Make no mistake about it, the new axis of evil is sending a message to America and the Western world: we're here and we're gunning for you. So when Venezuela's finest come gunning for America, threatening our safety and our sovereignty, and our president actually does something about it, that's sending exactly the right message back to not only Venezuela, but back to the world. That's exactly what more than half of this country voted for. Earlier this week, President Trump posted this dramatic video of a speedboat in the Caribbean exploding in a precision U.S. air strike. Crushed it. Blew it right out of the water, so to speak. The administration says the target was carrying narcotics, and the 11 crew who died were part of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which the U.S. has designated a foreign terrorist organization already. Assuming that's true, which we believe it is, great move. So as President Trump's warning, there's more where that came from. Even better move, because that's what we voted for. The usual protocol for such moments would be for the U.S. Coast Guard to stop the suspected drug traffickers, to take themselves onto the boat, seize whatever drugs and whatever they had, whatever needed to be seized, firearms, drugs, make an arrest or two, and then set a trial date. And if you ask any snowflake how they wish it would have gone down, they would agree with that stupid process. But things have changed. It hasn't worked. Gangs, drug violence, cartels, they're coming in unfettered and unchecked. And let's be honest, Venezuela most certainly doesn't follow protocol. Venezuela is sending their cartels over to America to have their way with our country. Just watch, just look. Look at the video from Colorado. And this, though, is exactly the kind of message America should be sending back to everyone, not just Venezuela, but certainly Maduro.
The United States has long, for many, many years, established intelligence that allow us to interdict and stop drug boats. And we did that. And it doesn't work. Interdiction doesn't work because these drug cartels, what they do is they know they're going to lose, 2% of their cargo. They bake it into their economics. What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them.
Yep, that's what we voted for. What I didn't vote for is Chris Van Hollen, the gang-loving congressional member, right here.
What this was an extrajudicial killing, pure and simple. It was illegal. As you said, we only have the Trump administration's word to take for who was on that boat. But even if they were right, we're not in a war with Venezuela. We're not in a conflict with Venezuela.
They killed narco-terrorists. Literally the definition, narco-terrorist, terrorists carrying drugs. We've defined Tren de Aragua as terrorists carrying drugs. They killed them. They were bringing drugs to kill our people. You idiot. I guess this guy would have boarded the boat and had some margaritas with the gangbangers, right? And then he would have used Google Maps to help them into the country. Interesting that he mentioned that word, illegal, since I didn't know that Van Hollen really understood what that word really means, since he's put his heart and soul into defending an illegal, criminal, thug gangbanger. Think about it. We've actually gotten to a point in this country where Democrats are actively defending drug trafficking cartels from Venezuela. He was defending them. Democrats are saying that President Trump shouldn't have killed any of them. And Democrats are saying that we should allow them to traffic more drugs into America because Democrats so clearly hate America. These criminals, these criminal cartels don't just smuggle drugs and feed our massive epidemic into the country. They're diversified into a range of grisly businesses, including kidnapping, extortion, human trafficking, child trafficking, rape, murder. In Venezuela, they're tools of the dictatorship as well, since the regime of Nicolas Maduro uses them to repress and populate and gives them impunity for their organized crime in Venezuela and in other places in the region. The gangs overwhelm weak institutions, even in countries that want to fight back. And that becomes eventually our problem too. Because in Central and South America, they all congregate in Mexico and come over here for our money and our people. That makes them a threat to the U.S. national security. Allowing them to grow powerful has invited chaos and tyranny, and allowing them into the country has put America and Americans in serious danger. But wait, there's more.
Agreed to have elections. The elections were completely fake. They leveraged migration against us to get those concessions, and now they have these general licenses where companies like Chevron are actually providing billions of dollars of money into the regime's coffers, and the regime kept none of the promises that they made. So all that needs to be re-explored, because in Venezuela, you have the Russian presence, you have a very strong Iranian presence. The Iranians, in fact, are beginning to build drone factories for the manufacture of Iranian drones in our own hemisphere. Not to mention the long practice of the Venezuelan regime of providing real but illegitimate passports to operatives for Hezbollah in our own hemisphere. And lastly, and I leave it lastly to Cuba.
And the reason why tens of millions of invaders had their way with our southern and northern borders is because these people were sent a clear message. As soon as Joe Biden stepped foot in that White House, flanked by the worst vice president in history, American history, and his border czar.
To folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. Do not come.
Do not come. Ooh, scary. I don't know. Do not come. Juxtapose this. Do not come versus blowing 11 of them out of the water when they're narco-terrorists on the way here. A little different, right? It's not exactly going to stop these cartels, you know what I'm saying? And yet that seemed to be our best defense for 4 long years. Maduro owns the cartel of the Suns. The U.S. calls it a foreign terrorist group. And the U.S. has indicted Maduro on narco-terrorism charges, placing a $50 million bounty on his head. It's not news that these people hurt America and Americans in serious ways and mean to do more. Do Democrats care about that? They seem like they don't. Actually, let me remove any certainty. They don't. And Tren de Aragua isn't Maduro's creation per se, but he's in cahoots with that regime. I'm anti-war. I'm against sending our troops and soldiers around the world to fight more endless wars. That goes without saying. You love it, you hate it. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. But it's actions like this one that evoke strength. Weakness begets wars. We've shown more than enough of that one, right? But 2 weak Democrat presidents, what happened? Wars popped up everywhere, threatening even us. But enough is enough. President Trump blowing up the drug-running boat from Venezuela wasn't just about dissuading drug trafficking. It was also a message to Maduro that our president, that we care if China has Venezuela's back. No, he doesn't. He doesn't give a damn, which that meeting in China showed full well what they were trying to do. It showed that the leader of this country will do what he needs to be done to protect the American people. And yes, I most certainly voted for that. 2.5 minutes.